Hello guys, this is Lakshya from Simplilearn and welcome to this tutorial on Java Object Programming or OOP concepts. This is a part of our Java tutorial series where we will be covering everything you need to know to master Java. This is what we are going to learn today. First, we'll get to know what Java OOP means and all its concepts. Then we'll look into each of the concepts one by one. First abstraction, then encapsulation, polymorphism, and lastly inheritance. We will see a Java code on IntelliJ for each of these concepts. So let's get started. So what is Java OOP? OOP means Object-Oriented Programming. OOP is a method to design a program using classes and objects that relate to the real world. We have four concepts of Java OOP: abstraction, encapsulation, polymorphism, and inheritance. Now let's look at each of them one by one. First, let's talk about abstraction. Abstraction means showing the relevant details and hiding all the backend or internal details. The syntax for abstraction is on your screen. We use abstract keyword to make a class or method abstract. Now let's take an example. For admission to a college, the information that is relevant are name, address, parents' name, and high school marks. Favorite sports, food, or movie are irrelevant for admission, but this information may be relevant to join a club in college. Now let's have a look at an example to understand abstraction using Java code. So for abstraction, I'm going to use a classic example using bikes. So let's create a new project. File, new project, next, and I'm going to name it as abstraction. So we have our main function here. So I'm going to create new classes. So first class I'm going to create as bike. Second, I'll create name of the bikes, Suzuki, and to understand better, let's create one more, Honda. So the bike and Suzuki classes, I'm going to make it as abstract class. So to make abstraction, as you all know, we have to use a keyword abstract. And even Suzuki, I'm going to use it as abstract. So Honda, I'm going to leave it like this so that we can use this in our main function, because we cannot use the objects of abstract classes. So that's why I'm going to leave Honda without the abstraction so that we can use all the abstract classes, bike and Suzuki. So let's start with the coding. In bike, first I'm going to create a constructor and I'm going to write it as bike started just for an instant, so that you can understand the concept better. So next I'm going to use three methods which are abstract and which we cannot define inside the abstract class. So first I'm going to use abstract run. We have to give it a return thing. If it's void, that's fine. And next I'm going to use it as stop. And one more. Let's say I'm going to use it as ABS, anti-braking system. So the thing is, if I declare abstract method here, I cannot define it. I cannot write anything inside it. I'll show you this. So if I want to write something in it, this will show an error. See this red line here? So if I go on this, there's a bulb sign here. Delete method body. Make run not abstract. So if I make abstract, I cannot define it. Defining of this class will be in a different class that has inherited the class bike. So I'm going to delete this body right now, and we are going to use these things so that you can understand better. So if I declare a normal method, for example, I'll make change gear. So if I print anything here, it will not show an error. Bike changed gear. So this will not show an error because the return function is first of all void and this is not abstract. So we can declare and define each method anywhere in the class, but if it is an abstract, we can only declare it but not define it. So what we'll do with this run, stop and ABS, we are going to use these methods into Suzuki and Honda. So let's go to Suzuki first. So first I'm going to extend it for bike so that it can inherit the methods of the bike. extends bike. So now if I use void run and just print the statement like Suzuki is running. Now this will not show an error because I am defining the whole function, the abstract function or method inside the class Suzuki that I inherited from the bike. Now to explain better, let me just use one more method, void stop, and I'm gonna print Suzuki stopped. So now you must be wondering why I am not using ABS. It's simple. Anti-braking system, it's not there in Suzuki, but it's there in Honda. So that is how a normal abstraction works. I can use run and stop in Honda as well, but that will override the program. So I'm gonna use ABS, anti-braking system in Honda. So with this we have completed our program, I mean all the classes. So let's get to our main program and see what we can do here. So first of all, I cannot create objects of the classes that are abstract. So if I create bike B is equal to new bike, this will not accept it, because if I go on here, implement methods, this is an error. You can see there bike is abstract, cannot be initiated. So for this, I'm going to use Honda instead of bike. I cannot use Suzuki because Suzuki is also abstract. Now this line is also red because I have not extended Honda to Suzuki or either bike. So as per Honda, I'm gonna extend it to Suzuki. And yeah, if I go to main program, now it's all fine because Honda has inherited properties of Suzuki as well as bike. So after I create objects, once I use it like b.run, then b.abs, b.changeGear and b.stop. See, I get everything here, all the 4 programs that I declared in bike and defined in Suzuki and Honda as well, but I can use all the programs because they have inherited properties from there. But I cannot use that directly because of abstraction. So that is the main concept of abstraction, that we cannot see the background details or the detailed things that are running behind. We can see only the relevant details. So now let's stop it and let's run this program. And yeah, we have successfully executed it. See, at the starting bike started, that's the constructor we called. After that Suzuki is running, it's in the run function here. Then anti-braking system, that's ABS. Then bike changed gear, that's change gear, and Suzuki stopped, that's stop. So with this we have completed our code. Let's move on to our next topic. Now let's see what is encapsulation. Encapsulation is like a capsule. The whole code and data is bounded together into a single unit. Consider this example. Variables and method are defined inside one class like a capsule. Other way to think about encapsulation is, it is protective shield that prevents the data from being accessed by the code outside of this shield. Now let's see an example of encapsulation using Java code. So now let's create a new project, file, new and project. Next, tick the box, next. So I'm gonna name it as encapsulation. Finish. So we have our main program here. So let's create a class for encapsulation. Right click on main, new and Java class. For this, I'm gonna name it as encap and enter. So I have a class for encapsulation. So let's declare some variables. So let's say I'm going to declare it as private string name. So I'll create a profile of a student who is studying. So name, age and roll number I'll be requiring for it. So next variable will be private int age. Next will be private int roll number. So now let's have getters and setters for this program. For this, right click, generate, getter and setter. select all and OK. So we have all the getters and setters for this program. This is used to easy the program so that we don't have to go and type all these things. So this is a feature of Java that will be very helpful. So now let's go to the main program and write our code here. So in the starting, I'm going to use one object. I'll use it as obj is equal to new encap. So I have created an object for the class encap, and now I'm going to set the age, name and roll number. So for this, obj dot set age, and I'm gonna set it as 21. Next one, obj dot set roll number 11, and next obj dot set name. I'm gonna write my name as Lakshay. So now we have set age, name, roll number and name. All the variables are set. So now we have to print these variables. So for printing we have a command system.out.println. So in this, first I'll type the name. Now here obj dot not set name, but here I'm gonna get it as get name. So I'm gonna copy this because I'll be requiring this for 3 times. So I'll just paste it. After name I'll write roll number. So here it becomes get roll, and here age, and here it becomes get age. So now we have completed our program. So now let's run it. And yes, we have our program finished and compiled and executed properly. As you can see, I have name, roll number and even age. So this is how encapsulation works. So if I am to use any of these variables, name, age or roll number in other classes, I cannot do that. So that is the main part of encapsulation, and it is very secure. So with this, we have completed our encapsulation. Let's move on to our next concept in Java OOPS. Our third concept is polymorphism. Polymorphism means one task is performed in different ways. One function is used for different tasks. There are 2 methods of polymorphism. First method is method overloading and second method overriding. Method overloading occurs when there are 2 or more methods of the same name but with different signatures. Method overriding occurs when one method is superclass that is redefined in a subclass. The signature of method remains the same. Let's see examples of both of them. In method overloading, there is a function multi that multiplies the variables inside it. So we can use different methods with same name, but we have to use different arguments. In this example, first method have integer a and integer b as arguments. The second method has double data type a and b variables. And third method has 3 variables as arguments. In method overriding, same method is used at multiple places, but each time it executes, the result is overwritten. In this example, top speed method is used in all the classes. For BMW, the result will be 150, 200 for Audi, and 180 for Mercedes. Now let's see examples. Now let's see each of these examples using Java code. So in polymorphism, the program will be similar like inheritance. But in inheritance, we inherit all the properties, variables as well as methods. But in polymorphism, we use same methods at different places. So let's create a new project. Next. And I'm going to name it as poly1. So first I'm going to use method overloading. That means using the same functions at 2 different places. So let me just create a new project. So let me just create a new class and I'm gonna name it as multiply. So I'm gonna create method with the same class name. So here int multi, and I'm gonna give arguments int a comma int b, and I'm gonna return the value a into b. So now I'll create one more method but with different argument. Int multi, and this time I'm gonna give it as double a comma double b, and I'm gonna return a into b. So it's showing red line because instead of integer I need to give double here. So now I'm gonna give one more but with different arguments, a int b and int c, and I'm gonna return a into b into c. So now I have three methods of the same name, all are multi. Now how do I use it? The use depends on what I declare. So now I'm going to declare object for this class multi. So now I'm going to print the result of these three functions or methods. First I have to declare two integers, then two doubles, and then three integers. So now to print this, sout m dot, then I'm going to use multi, and in this 2, 3. So it automatically detects a and b. So now if I do m dot double comma double, so in double I have to put a decimal point, and as per b, let's do it 6.6. So as you can see, it automatically detects which function I am calling or which method I am calling. So according to the arguments that I give, it detects its method. So now as per three variables, 3, 4 and 5. So now if I execute it, and yeah, you can see the result here. So our first was 2, 3, that means 2 into 3, that's 6. Second is 3.3 multiplied by 6.6, that's 21.779. And the third one, 3 into 4 into 5, that's 60. So I hope you understood the concept behind polymorphism. So now let's move on to overriding. So for this, I'm going to create a new project, and I'm going to write it as polymorphism second one. So in this I have main program. So now I'm going to create classes for it. So I'm going to use a classic example for cars. So first one, let me name car as BMW. The second one Audi, and the third one Mercedes. So as you saw the example before when we were discussing about what polymorphism is, I had an example where I used the method as top speed. So I'm gonna use top speed, and let Mercedes be 220. I'll just copy paste it. Audi, I'm gonna make it as 200. And for BMW, I'm gonna make it as 240. So now we have three functions or methods top speed in three different classes. So now what will happen if I use a normal method here? So now again I'm gonna create an interface for the user so that he can choose which car to use. And yeah, before that I'm gonna create objects for these classes. So first BMW, I'm gonna give it as car1 is equal to new BMW. As per Audi, I'm gonna give it as C2, and as per Mercedes, I'm gonna give it as C3. And yeah, we have created all the objects. So now I'm gonna create one more variable to get the input of the user, the same ch. And now I'm gonna ask the user, we have three models. Again, I'm gonna give them the menu. First one is BMW, second one is Audi, and third one is Mercedes. And ask the user, what would you prefer? So enter your choice. So again I'm gonna do a scanning part. So again, as you all know, I'm gonna import java.util.scanner. So here ch is equal to s.next int. Oh, I have to declare a variable for scanner. So scanner s is equal to new scanner system.in. So here s.nextInt. So now we have choice of the user. So if the user chooses first one, that means BMW, so I'm gonna write as top speed of BMW is, and then as BMW is car 1, so C1 dot top speed. So it's gonna automatically return the value that is there in BMW. And again, else if ch is equal to 2, then it gives Audi. So I'm just gonna copy paste this sentence, and instead of C1 I'm gonna make C2. And again, if the user chooses 3 as their option, then I'm gonna give Mercedes, and instead of C2 it will be C3. So if the user gives an input that is not relevant, so for that, else please enter value between 1 and 3. So with this we have completed our program. So now let's run it. And we have successfully executed our program. So BMW, Audi and Mercedes, I'm gonna enter choice as 1, that is BMW. And yes, we can see top speed of BMW is 240. If we go into the program, I gave 240 as the value, so it overwrites the program, the method that I gave. So if I again execute it and give the value as 2, then the top speed becomes 200. So this time I executed Audi and the top speed that's there inside the Audi class. So now that we have understood what polymorphism is, let's move on to the next topic. Now in the end, let's see what inheritance is. When one class inherits some properties and attributes of other class, it is known as inheritance. Let's have a look at an example. In this example, automobiles is a superclass that have methods like fuel for fuel capacity, year for year of manufacture, and speed for maximum speed. The classes that inherits the variables and methods of automobiles are bikes, cars, and planes. These classes will be called as subclass. Now let's see Java code for this example so that we can understand it better. So now let's create a new project. File, new project. Next, tick, next, and I'm gonna name it as inheritance example. Finish. So we have our main class here. So I'm gonna create some more classes. First class, I'm gonna use it as automobiles. Now inside automobiles there are many classes, so I'm gonna make first one as bikes. The second one I'm gonna make it as cars, and the third one I'm gonna name it as planes. So bikes, cars and planes, all of them extends automobiles, means they inherit properties from automobiles. So I'm gonna write extends automobiles in everything, and in planes extends automobiles. So now bikes, cars and planes inherit everything that comes in automobiles. So now let's create some variables. First, int year of manufacture. Second, int maximum speed, as you saw in the example. And third one, string fuel. I am putting fuel as string just because I'm gonna put liters after that. So how much is the capacity of bike in liters? So for that L I have to put as string, otherwise I would go for double or integer. So even for this, if I don't extend it, then I won't be able to use these variables as it is. But now I have inherited the properties, then I can use them very easily. So int year, int speed and string fuel. And same thing I'm gonna do here. So I'll just copy paste it. And same thing in planes. So now we have our variables ready. So now let's go to main program. So if you need, you can use getters and setters for it as well. So here getter and setter, select all and OK. Now getters and setters are usually helpful when we have very big programs and we need methods for it. But for this is a very simple program, so I don't think so I'm going to use getters and setters. It's just for your knowledge. So I'll just go to main program. So in the first, I'm going to create all the objects. Cars, car is equal to new cars. Bikes, bike is equal to new bikes. And planes, plane is equal to new planes. So now we have created all the objects. So we need some user input as well. So for this, I'm going to import scanner and declare an object for scanner. java.util.scanner. So here scanner s is equal to new scanner in bracket system.in. So that is used for input. So now let's start declaring all the values that we have created for the objects. So we'll start with car. Car.year is equal to, as our year was int, so I'll make it as 2014. Next, car.speed. Our speed was also integer, so I'm going to take it as 180 kilometer per hour or miles per hour. It's up to you guys. Even you want to declare it as string and make it as kmps or kmph, it's up to you. So car dot in the end fuel. So fuel is string, so I'm going to use it as inverted commas. So usually car has 20 liters. So now same thing, I'm going to do it for bikes and planes. Bike dot year is equal to, let's give it as 2016. Bike dot speed, I'll give it as 150. And bike dot fuel, I'm gonna give it as 10 liters. 10 liters. And then bike. So all three of bikes are also done. So now it's up to plane. Plane dot year is equal to 2018. Plane dot speed. Now as we all know, plane travels much faster than car or any bike, so I'm gonna give it as 1000. And plane dot fuel, I'm gonna give it as 200 liters. So now we have declared all the values for our variables. So I'm gonna create a platform where user chooses whether he wants to know the details about car, bike or plane. So in the starting, I'm going to ask user that we have three models. What would you like to choose? So in three models, I'm going to write it as 1 cars, 2 bikes and 3 planes. And in the end, I'm going to ask the user to enter their choice. So for choice also I need one more variable. So I'm gonna declare int ch, and ch is equal to s dot next int, as it is an integer. So we have our choice now. So if the user chooses first one, that is cars, so I'm gonna print all the details of cars. So first year of manufacture and plus car dot year, and I'm just gonna copy paste it. So the next, after year of manufacture, it comes maximum speed, and after that in the end fuel capacity. So same thing I'm gonna copy, and I'm gonna move on to what if user chooses the second thing. So for this I'm gonna use else if statement. Ch is equal to 2. That means if user chooses 2, then I'm gonna just paste it. So 2 was bike and bike dot year. I think instead of year I have to change it. Everywhere I have put year. So I'll just quickly change it. Car.speed and car.fuel, bike.speed and bike.fuel. Again copy. And what if the user chooses planes? That means if the choice is equal to 3, then I have to paste the same thing, but instead of bike I'll write plane and plane.fuel. So with this we have completed our program. But in case a user enters invalid input, either he enters 4 or 5 or any of his number that he wants, so for this we have to use a default thing. That means we have to print to the user that enter choice between 1 and 3. So that's it. We have completed our program for inheritance. So now let's run it. And yes, we have successfully executed our program. So here it asks enter your choice. So in the starting I'm going to go with bikes. So I'm going to put 2. And yeah, it can show me the year of manufacture, the maximum speed of bike, and the fuel capacity of the bike. So I can make it more interesting with this. I'll just have to write of car so that the user can understand it better. So it's all the user interface, how neatly you can create a program and how neatly you can execute it so that people will understand. That is also one useful part that we need. And in the last I'm going to write it as of plane. So now if I execute it, so that looks much neater and easy to understand, right? So again I'm gonna put as bikes. You can also put it as bike, but for your understanding I'm gonna put it as planes. That means that my choice will be 3 and enter. And yeah, year of manufacture of plane is 2018, max speed is 1000 and fuel capacity is 200 liters. So with this we have finished our program on inheritance. So this brings us to the end of the video. We learned about Java object-oriented programming and all its concepts: abstraction, encapsulation, polymorphism, and inheritance. I hope you liked the video. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for more from Simplilearn.
Hi there, if you like this video, subscribe to the Simplilearn YouTube channel and click here to watch similar videos. To nerd up and get certified, click here.